Good morning, everybody. It's Dan back with you today. Got another video for you today, and today we are going to Eccles, West Virginia, in Raleigh County. We're covering a mine disaster that happened back in 1914. Killed over 180 some people. This is the second most major mine explosion in history. Number one was in 1907 up in Monaga, in the northern part of the state around Fairmont. So we're going to cover that today, and I just want to do these every now and again to remember our coal miners that has worked hard in sweat and blood to make Appalachia what it is. And so we're headed over that way toward Eccles. If you wanted to come along with us today, and we'll learn something. I learn stuff on these videos every time I go out. So come along with me today. Let's head on to Eccles. And by the way, appreciate y'all so much for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for your support. So let's head on toward Eccles. We'll get back with you in a bit. Okay, folks, I made it to this little town called Eccles. This is like any of these other little towns here in Appalachia, coal towns. But I did make it to the memorial site where all the miners was killed. But first, we're going to check out the town. A little information about the town here. They have some information here. It says, the community of Eccles, as with many towns in the southern coal fields of West Virginia, Eccles can be traced beginning back to the early 20th century and the reign of clean coal. By 1913, the New River Collieries companies operated 4 mines in the area. 2 of the mines, number 5 and number 6, were rocked by explosions on April 28, 1914. 183, killing 183 folks, people. Wow. This explosion remains the second deadliest disaster in West Virginia history. The area is known as Eccles was largely rural before the first coal mines opened in 1905. As they did in much of the area, the coal companies came and built the whole new town for the miners and their families. They built companies-owned houses for the miners. Yeah, a lot of times back then, anyway, if you lived here and you worked in coal mines, you lived in their houses that they built. The company-owned houses for miners and superintendents, doctors, and offices and churches, a company store, and a clubhouse. As more mines opened, many immigrants made their way to Eccles. Well, they made their way to Gary and other places, and they were all coming from all over the place to these coal places for work. Though they had many differences, they worked side by side with Native Americans, and soon Eccles became a vibrant community. As baseball grew in popularity, Eccles was no exception, with a 32-4 record. Wow. Some called 1917 Eccles Baseball Club the greatest coalfield baseball team West Virginia ever had. This team featured players like Wayne Wright, who later as a pitcher for the St. Louis Browns had the winning percentage in American League. In 1919, Ezra Midkiff, who went on to play with New York Yankees. Wow. Cincinnati Red Legs, the Eccles Admirals, carried their winning tradition through the 1950s. Heirs of Coalfield. Wow. Right here, folks, is a picture of the baseball team. Can you imagine that? We had baseball players here in Appalachia went and played for the New York Yankees and the Cincinnati Redlegs. Wow. Here's a picture of the old Eccles clubhouse. Wow. You know, over McDowell County there up on the mountain, there's a place called Miracle Mountain, and they had a clubhouse up there, which I've showed that in other vehicles. So here's a group of miners in 1956. It says here, this just moments after April 28, 1914 explosion. This is where the mine was. Wow. The picture of the rescue teams. They had rescue teams even back in the day. Wow. I got a picture of this. It's one of the pictures I have in this video right here. It's them overlooking the scene of the disaster of the mine explosion. Let's read a little bit about it here. Eccles Mines disaster. Eccles number 5 was the site of two deadly explosions on April 28th. Wow, it exploded more than once that day. April 28th, 1914, a miner drilled a hole through a coal barrier, which affected the ventilation in the area. Poor ventilation causing methane gas to accumulate, and a second miner with an open flame light ignited the gas, setting off the blast. Wow. Yeah, I have one of them flame lights there. I'll show you. It's like a that you wear on your head. It says the explosion was so violent it killed all 174 miners inside the number 5 mine, which opened to the number 6 coal seam, and killed 8 miners and the insurance salesman in the section from the injuries and afterdamp. Afterdamp is a deadly gas left after an explosion. The explosion shook the buildings in Beckley. Wow, 4 miles away. The force was so powerful, the shaft entry into the mines was blocked. Rescue workers worked for 4 days to remove the debris to get the victims. As the bodies were removed, they were taken to the coal company machine shop for preparation before moved to the morgues set up in freight cars for identification. Some miners' bodies were never identified. The miners were buried at a local cemetery, including Clay Cemetery, Harper Cemetery, Mount Tabor Cemetery, the St. Sebastian Cemetery in Beckley. So they were buried in several different cemeteries throughout the area. Also, there was a cemetery in Beckley, a Polish cemetery in Eccles. The remains of the Polish cemetery were later moved to the memorial site. Now, that's where we're at here. This is where the Polish folks are. Later moved to the memorial site. The 1914 mining accident was the second deadliest in West Virginia history. On March 8, 1926, Eccles experienced another deadly explosion that killed 19 miners in the number 5. Methane gas ignited by the coal cutting machine. Wow. I'll show you a picture of one of those too up here. Caused the explosion. Reports show that the machine operator failed to test for presence of gas. Wow, it's very important to check for gas before you light any type of light or anything like that. Rescue workers had to clear debris to reach surviving miners and remove the victims. On March 9th, rescue workers discovered a chalk line to come to a particular section. Arriving in the area, they rescued 10 men who had barricaded themselves. The victims were identified by other miners and transported to Beckley for burial preparations. They were buried at the nearby cemeteries, including, like we say, Clay Cemetery, Mount Tabor Cemetery, Eccles Cemetery in Raleigh County, as well as other states, including Kentucky, Virginia, and Ohio. So all these miners were a lot of them from different areas, and I guess they went to their hometowns to be buried. After both explosions, the Public Service Commission awarded the miners' widows, their children, a compensation. The widows received $25 a month in 1914 and $30 a month in 1926. They also received $5 a month per child up to 3 children. On April 28, 1976, Westmoreland Coal Company erected this monument, which you see up there. We're going to walk up and take a look at that, to dedicate it to the miners who killed in the 2 explosions. Historical marker commemorating the disaster is located on the Raleigh County Courthouse steps, near the steps. We may go look at that today if we get a chance. But how we're going to tell you about these memorial signs that they put up. You know, I thought the state would take care of them and pay for them, but now to have one put up, you actually have to have donations or something to have him, because it costs about $1,000, they say, to have made. And you have to have people to donate money, because the state don't pay for that anymore, they say. So to have one of them put up, you have to have proof of whatever went on, and for that site. So they say there's over 1,000 of them in the state of West Virginia put up here and there. So we're going to take a little stroll up this hill here, and we're going to work our way up here to the site where I guess the Polish folks that are buried here in different places on this hill, and we'll go up here and take a look at the monument. It's a pretty good little climb up here. It's a foggy morning. I come out here a little early this morning. Started out real early, and it's a pretty day. It's going to be a pretty day, they say. But I can see places where people look like they're sunken in places here. You can see all around in here. All in here. Yeah, all down in here. Sunken spots. I'd say where graves are, but there's not any marked. Well, I made it up here. Oh man, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful monument. It says here, this memorial is dedicated to those men who died on April 28, 1914 and March 8, 1926 in the explosions at the Eccles 5 and 6 mines. Their contribution to the economic growth of the country shall not be forgotten. Wow. Westmoreland Coal Company, April 28, 1976. Here we have a list of the men who had lost their lives in 1914 due to the explosion. Wow. That's a lot of folks for sure. They say a lot of those were immigrants who come from other countries over here to work. And here's a continuancy of a list of the men. And down here's a list of the ones of 1926 explosion. Wow. So here lays, you can see down here in the bottom. We'll go down here and take a look, but you can see holes and stuff, and where they've got spots made here, look like sunk spots. They're all in here. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do for the men. You know, they're the ones that got Appalachia where it's at. These coal men, the coal miners, they went and they're the ones that done the work, got all the industries going here. Well, we didn't have anything, you know. So wow. It looked like it's bottom plumb full of graves. Wow. As you can see right here, you know, you can see too well there, but all of these are unknown. Don't know who they are, coal miners. Wow. Rows and rows and rows of them. Wow. That was a hard work back in them days. And very dangerous, as you could see. You know, coal mining is dangerous today, but it's not nothing like it was back in the day. This is all proof of it right here. You know, usually, you know, you have one these days. It's very rare you do, but see how straight and rolls these are across here. Usually when you do have an explosion, it's not this many souls. You know, all of these people here had families. Wow. That little place over there in Virginia, I done the other video, you could see grave sites, but it was sunk in places, but every one of these people here has a marker, but it says unknown because they don't know who they were. I guess, you know, maybe they couldn't recognize them, didn't have no proof of who they were on them. You know, we as coal miners now, they have tags, mine tags that you wear on your belt. It's identification. It's like a brass tag that you wear. It's got your perm number on it, and tells them who you are. In case you get burnt beyond recognition, they'll have your tag there to know who you were. I don't even know if they had them back then in them days or not. But wow, this is something. This whole field here is about the size of a football field. And it is plumb full of graves of coal miners here that worked in Eccles, West Virginia. Wow. So I guess the ones that they took to the other cemeteries was folks that they knew who were and took them to their family cemeteries in different places, and they put the ones that they didn't know who were here, the unknown. And as the information down there is talking about, the Polish ones that were, I guess, the immigrants from other places. But this goes on all the way out to the other side of the fence. Wow. I was wanting to tell you about the number one most worst disaster was called Monaga mine disaster, which occurred on December the 6th, 1907 in West Virginia, was the worst mining disaster in history, killing at least 361 men and boys. The event, caused by what is believed to be a spark from a mine train igniting methane and coal dust, had profound impact, leading to an outpouring of public concern, contributing to establishment of the U.S. Bureau of Mines in 1910. Wow. The reason I wanted to mention this, because this was the number one, and this right here where we're at today at Eccles was the number two. It was the second most terrible accident that happened, explosion happened in West Virginia to date. There have been many more mine explosions that's happened throughout the years afterwards and in between, but these two here was the worst. Had more victims. As you can see, this little field right here is full of coal miners. Wow. Folks, I hope you like this little video today. It's a little bit on the sad side, but I just like to do these sometimes to give us all a reminder of and respect those ones that fought and worked here and made Appalachia what it is through the coal industries and stuff. And a lot of this coal industry was brought to you by blood and dying. So let's just remember those folks. And I thank you so much for coming along today. And we'll do something a little different next time, but I wanted to do this today to remember those coal miners. We'll catch y'all next time, folks. We'll catch you next time on Appalachian Roots with Dan. Catch y'all later.